How many games will the Browns win in 2025? What's going on, dog pound? It's your boy, Mail Jones here, back at it with another NFL record prediction. And this time we'll be doing our record prediction for the Cleveland Browns for a 2025 NFL season. Give you my game analysis, my game thoughts, see which games I think the Browns will win and which games I think the Browns will lose. Before I give you my record prediction for the Cleveland Browns for a 2025 NFL season, don't forget to put a thumbs up to like the video, subscribe to my channel more often, and comment down your opinion below to see how far you think the Browns will be. Do you think the Browns are going to make the playoffs this year? Do you think, the Browns could win the division, or you think the Browns are going to miss out on the playoffs? Let me know in the comments below what you think about the Cleveland Browns. Okay, starting things off, week 1, we got the Browns playing against the Cincinnati Bengals. Obviously, this is a game right here that can go either way. Now, last season, the Bengals did sweep them. But as you all know, the Bengals tend to start the season off pretty slow. So this could be a winnable game for the Browns just because, the Browns, match up well with the Bengals pretty good. Like, the Browns have a great pass rush. They have a great secondary that can really, cover against the Bengals' weaponry. And the Bengals may not be able to run the ball. I don't know if they will. But I think, the Bengals offense can totally get the Browns defense some problems. Which I can totally see that. So, yeah, I don't really know. This is tricky. I'm going to give this win to the Bengals for right now. But this could also be a trap game as well. Then week 2, they play against the Ravens in Baltimore. I got nothing to say. I mean, Baltimore, that's an easy win right there. Baltimore at home is tough. Lamar is tough. Derrick Henry, tough. I mean, best team in the league heading into the season. I mean, Ravens are just going to be one of the best teams in the AFC once again. So, I mean, yeah, I have nothing to say. Ravens are just a more complete team, better quarterback, at home, better coaching staff. So, yeah. And then week 3, they play at home against the Packers. I got the Packers win this game. Another good team so far, especially in the NFC. I mean, Packers, they're one of the best teams in the NFC. Packers, I know it's in Cleveland, but the Packers just got the more experienced quarterback, better quarterback, better coaching staff. They're just a more complete team. I mean, I have nothing to say. I mean, Packers, easy win. Packers just, I just feel like their defense is going to get the Browns offense a lot of fits, especially, even though the game's in Cleveland, I mean, there's a chance the Browns defense can give the Packers offense some problems, but I don't really see it though, but they could. But I could see the Browns pull off an upset though if they can force a bad game from Love. But I just don't see. I mean, that's a Packers win. Then week 4, they play versus the Lions. I mean, and another reason why the Packers will win because they just got the more explosive offense than the Browns. Because the Browns, I don't think they're gonna have explosiveness on offense. So yeah, that's pretty much why I think they'll lose to the Packers. Then week 4 against the Lions, that's another loss right there for the Browns. I mean, Lions, they're gonna be one of the best teams in the NFC once again. The Lions just have the better quarterback. They're at home. I feel like their coaching is better, but they're probably going to be dealing with some coaching issues due to losing both their coordinators. They're at home. They just got the more explosive offense. I don't really see how the Browns are just going to be able to at least contain the Lions, and the Lions just they're at home in the dome, tough place to play. They're the Lions, they can run the ball, they can throw the ball. I mean, even though despite, a good talented defense, I think Goff is probably going to pick you apart, especially at home, at Ford Field through the dome. I mean, yeah, because you got to deal with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Jameson Williams, and Sam Laporta. And the Lions do have a really good offensive line that can really protect and keep their offense on balance. And I think their defense is totally going to give the Browns offense tons of fits because the Lions have a strong pass rush that can get after you. And, they're tough to run on. Like, they don't allow you to run them over. And, their secondary is really good, but they play like a fast defense. So I just don't think the Browns are going to be able to throw the ball on the Lions. So that's pretty much why I think the Lions will win. Then week 5, they got to play versus the Vikings in London. This is a game that can go either way, but I lean towards the Vikings winning this game. And the reason for it is that I just feel like the Vikings are just the much more talented team. And I just have a feeling that, now both these two teams are similar because they both have a really good defense, but the offenses could be a bit sketchy. Now the Vikings offense could be a little bit sketchy coming into the season because they're dealing with a new quarterback and all that. And, the Vikings got a strong offensive line that's much improved. They got plenty of weapons like Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison that can really give your Browns defense some problems. But at the same time, the Vikings have a really good defensive line and a great front seven and a great defensive coordinator in Brian Flores who likes to blitz a lot and he's very aggressive. But in my opinion, I just don't really think the Browns offensively are going to be able to get after that secondary. I don't think they'll get after their defense. And I just don't think they're going to be able to run the ball effectively, which that's going to play in the Vikings' hands because, the Vikings can stop the run and, force, the Browns offense into some mistakes, some bad sacks, some turnovers. Yeah. But I wouldn't trust a rookie against a rookie quarterback, especially against that good of a defense like the Vikings. And especially, the Vikings are more stable at the quarterback position as well. And that's a pretty much reason why I think the Vikings will win. But I think it could be close though. I think it's gonna be more of a defensive game because I feel like both of the offenses are probably gonna be a little bit disorganized due to the travel and stuff like that and all that. So yeah, but there's a chance I think the Browns can win. But if they can force a bad game from JJ and get him uncomfortable in the pocket and force some mistakes, that could be possible that the Browns can totally win this game. But I don't see it though. Then next game, week 6 against the Pittsburgh Steelers at home is in Pittsburgh. They'll lose that game because the Steelers, they're the more complete team. They're at home. They got Aaron Rodgers, who's a better quarterback. Their coaching is better. I mean, yeah, nothing to say to this. So basically, as you look at this schedule, the Browns are 0-6. They're 0-6 heading towards, week 7, which that's not a good start because basically, as you look at the schedule, the Browns have to play basically at least 5-6 playoff teams because you got the Bengals who totally can make the playoffs this year. And they have to play at least 5 playoff teams after that, like the Ravens, and they got to play 3 NFC North teams like the Packers, Lions, Vikings, and the Steelers. That's tough. Though, and week 7, you got to play versus Miami Dolphins. Now, this is a game that can totally go either way. Now, I did pick the Dolphins to win because the Dolphins have the better quarterback. But at the same time, this is tricky, but I'm going to go with the Browns to get their first win of the season just because I just think the Browns, the Browns are at home in this game and it could be weather dependent and it could be raining. And, I just not really sure if the Dolphins offensively are going to be able to at least move the ball against that defense of the Browns because the Browns defense is very solid. Their pass rush is really good. I feel like they can get after Tua, and I feel like their secondary can do enough, covering the Dolphins receivers. And I just have a feeling that the Browns, offensively if they can get something going and they'll find a way to at least like get after the Dolphins secondary, they'll be in good shape because the Dolphins secondary is probably going to be really bad, especially if Jalen Ramsey's not there. But if Tua's hurt, I feel like that there's a chance the Browns can win. But I feel like the Dolphins are just a better team and have the better quarterback from a talent standpoint. But the Dolphins, they're probably gonna be favored at least by like a touchdown or something. Because I kind of remember last year when these two teams played, the Dolphins did win without Tua. So yeah, so just remember that. So yeah, I just think the Browns will win because just because I feel like their defense will win them this game. So yeah. Then next game week 8, you got to play against the Patrons. I think they'll lose that game to the Patrons, and here's why. The Patrons, are probably going to be a good team this year. They made a lot of improvements. They had a good offseason. And, Drake May's the better quarterback because they got the better quarterback. I think their coaching staff is a lot better than the Browns. They're going to be at home in this game. And the Patrons are probably going to be a better team than the Browns. So I think the Patrons are just a more complete team overall. And, I just don't really think the Browns offensively are going to be able to get after that secondary of the Patrons. And I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball on the Patrons, which that's going to play in the Patrons' hands. And I think the Patrons can do enough offensively to, like, move the ball against your defense as well, which I can totally put the Browns' defense in a bad position. So, yeah, I think the Patrons find a way to win this game. Then they head towards the bye week. Then after the bye, they play against the Jets in New York. This is a game that can totally go either way. Because both of these two teams have a solid defensive line, a solid secondary, but their offenses are a little sketchy though. But now, in my opinion, the Browns match up well with the Jets really good on paper because the Browns, I know it's on the road in New York, but I feel like, as long as they don't really give up big plays to Garrett Wilson, I think they'll be fine. But I just don't know if the Jets really have the passing game to get after that secondary. Because the Jets, what they like to do is run the ball, and they got a quarterback who's not good as a pure passer in Justin Fields, which that's something you got to know of. But at the same time, the Browns are on the road, and I wouldn't trust a rookie, especially against a good defense like the Jets. I'm taking the Jets here to win this game because I think the Jets, I just have a feeling that the Jets can match the Browns' physicality, especially with their defensive line. I think they can get after the Browns' offense, and their secondary is solid, which I think Sauce versus Judy is a good matchup. So as long as the Jets defense don't really give up big plays to him, I think they'll be fine. So yeah, I think the Jets defense can win them this game. So yeah, I like the Jets here. Then week 11 against the Ravens. There's a chance that you guys could get swept by the Ravens, but I think the Browns are going to split with the Ravens and win this game just because the Browns tend to play the Ravens tough. Even last year when these two teams play, the Browns did beat them with Jameis Winston. So that's something you got to remember. So yeah, but the Ravens are a better team, but the Browns, it's division rival, and the Browns usually win division rivals games, and they usually play the Ravens tough. So yeah, that's pretty much why. Week 12 against the Las Vegas Raiders. This is another game that can go either way. Now, last year when these two teams play, I believe the Raiders did win. I could see it happen again. Now, the Raiders is interesting. The Raiders got a good quarterback in Geno. They got a good coach in Pete Carroll. They got a really solid offensive line, but they got weird weapons like Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers. Their defensive line is good, but their secondary is a little suspect. Their linebackers are suspect. So, yeah, but this game can go either way. I think it's going to be a lot closer than we expected to. I expect it to be more of a defensive game. I'm probably going to go with the Raiders here just because I think the Raiders, They're at home in this game, and Vegas is kind of a tough outing to play at. I just think the Raiders can do enough defensively to at least like get after the Browns. Like the Raiders are good against the run. They can stop their running game. And I feel like Geno Smith can do enough to like make some plays against your defense because he's solid enough to do that. So yeah, I think the Raiders will win because they just got the better quarterback and the better coaching staff as well, and they're at home. So yeah, I like the Raiders here. Next game, week 13 against San Francisco 49ers. This is another game that can go either way. This could be weather dependent. Now, who knows? It could be rain this game, and we know Brock Purdy's not good in the rain. So yeah, but I know the game's in Cleveland because I know the Browns did beat the Niners though a few years ago, and the game was pretty close. But I'm gonna go with the San Francisco 49ers and win this game because I think the Niners are a little bit too physical for the Browns. Because here's the thing: the Niners have a really good pass rush that can really like get after you, and their secondary could be a little suspect, but I feel like Leonore and Judy will be a good matchup. So yeah, and the Niners offensively are just more explosive, especially in the passing and running game, which I think they'll be able to do much. And I know Jim Schwartz did a good job against Kyle Shanahan, but I feel like Robert Saleh with his scheme defensively, I feel like he'll find a way to at least like shut the Browns offense down. Like shut down the Browns offense. Like he'll find a way to confuse them. But if I feel like the Niners get up early, they'll probably like blow the Browns out because the Browns aren't a good offense as well. So yeah. I know it's in Cleveland, but I think the Niners, they're just the way much more better team, better quarterback, better coaching, and all that. So yeah, I think that's a Niners win. Next game against the Tennessee Titans. This is another game that can go either way. I'm gonna come back to this one. Week 15 against Chicago Bears. Obviously, I think the Bears will win just because the Bears are at home. They got the better quarterback. There's the much more complete team. So yeah, I mean the Bears got more weapons on offense. Their offensive line is much improved, so it could be better than the Browns. I think they'll run the ball a lot better, including adding Ben Johnson. And I think the defense is solid, which I think that can really give your offense tons of issues. So yeah, and the Bears, now if the Browns defense can like get a pass rush on Caleb Williams, that could be possible that the Browns can win, but I just don't see it. I think the Bears will win this game at home. Then week 16 against the Buffalo Bills. I think the Bills will win. The Bills are just too physical for the Browns. I mean, Bills, more complete team, better quarterback, better coaching. I mean, yeah. I mean, the Bills, even though they don't have a lot of explosive weapons, I still think Josh Allen can like get after the Browns secondary and all that. So yeah, and their defense is solid, which I think they'll like cause the Browns offense a lot of problems. So yeah. Then week 17 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You typically beat the Steelers, once a year. So I think the Steelers will split with you guys. So I think the Browns will win this game because I feel like the Browns typically play the Steelers tough. Even the Browns did beat them with the third string quarterback like last year. So yeah, even 2 years ago. So yeah, that's something you got to remember. But as you know, the Browns also did beat the Steelers with Jameis Winston in the snow, which that's kind of fun. So I think the Browns will probably steal this victory there. And then last game against the Bengals, I think they'll lose this game and probably get swept by the Bengals because the Bengals are trying to get to the playoffs and which they have much to play for, and the Browns are not going to be a playoff team this year. So yeah. So basically, I got the Browns sitting at 3-13-1, which that's like leading with one more game here. I think against the Titans. This is a game that can go either way. Now, last time, I think 2 years ago, I believe the Browns did destroy the Titans. I can see it happening again. Um, in my opinion, the Titans do have some weapons on offense, though. And their defense is solid, but their offensive line is a bit sketchy. Who knows? This could be Shador Sanders versus Cam Ward. Hey, but you know what though? I'm going with the Cleveland Browns here to win this game, just because I just feel like a rookie against a against that Browns defense is kind of a Browns advantage. Because the Browns, I feel like their defensive line can totally give the Titans' offensive line some issues, especially through the run game. And their corners in the secondary will find a way to at least like play some sticky coverage against an underwhelming receiving core of the Titans. So yeah, so basically, I like the Browns here to win this game at home. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Titans won. I wouldn't rule it out, but I think the Browns will find a way to pull this one off. So basically, I have the Browns sitting at 4-13, which that's possible. You know, I just have the Browns, as one of the worst teams in football, and and like I said at the beginning, I like their coaches, I like their roster, but the Browns just don't have a quarterback. Like they just have an unknown quarterback, which I don't know who is going to be. The offensive line is pretty old, and they need to revamp that. And their defense, is pretty good, but will will it be good enough to carry a team? Who knows? But I feel like the defense of the Browns is pretty good, but I don't think it's really good enough to carry a team. But at the same time, as you look at the Browns' schedule, is very tough because they have to play at least 5 to 6 playoff teams, which they got to play the Bengals twice. They play the Ravens twice. They play the Steelers twice. They got to play the NFC North division, which that's the Packers, the Lions, Vikings, and Bears. They even got to play a first place schedule against the Bills. They got to play the Niners. They played the Patriots. So, yeah, that's a tough schedule. I feel like the only good teams that the Browns don't play is the Buccaneers, the Rams, the Cowboys, the Commanders, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Texans, and all that. So, yeah. So basically, I feel like the Browns are going to go 4-13. I feel like it's going to be another down year for the Browns. I feel like Kevin Stefanski could totally be on the hot seat. Who knows? I like, I think the Browns, need another year to at least take another step back before I believe they could take a step forward. But I feel like if they can get some good quarterback play out of this team, then I feel like they can be a team that can totally win 8, 9, or 10 games. I think their ceiling can be 8 wins, if they get good quarterback play and the offense starts humming and then the defense start to play at a high level. But I think, with their floor being really low depends on with bad quarterback play and all that. So yeah. So I feel like 4-13 sounds about right for the Browns, but I'm sorry. I mean, somebody has to lose games. I mean, that's how the way it is. I just can't pick, teams to be good with an unknown quarterback. So yeah. So that's my prediction for the Cleveland Browns. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments section below what you guys think and how you guys feel about the Browns. It's Emmanuel Jones, a big fan. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Peace.